Masterful cinematography and stunning locales brought the high fantasy world of HBO's Game of Thrones to life. The visual features of the program were crucial in contributing to subtext, which improved the plot and drama. Every Game of Thrones sequence was meticulously filmed and expertly performed. From the pilot, Winter is Coming, through the conclusion, The Iron Throne, Game of Thrones episodes emphasized the significance of cinematography in characterization and the setting of the broader story. While there are many aesthetically stunning sequences and montages in the performance, some, in particular, stand out. Another amazing Game of Thrones sequence can be seen near the end of Season 3's, And Now His Watch is Ended. The fall of Astapor is depicted, as is Khaleesi's calm, Dracarys' order, and Drogon releasing flames to scorch Kraznys' Nakloz. Every detail in the scenario is skillfully woven together to prove that Daenerys is the dragon's offspring. This event takes place against the backdrop of the deal that guarantees all 8,000 Unsullied in exchange for Dany's Drogon. As the two sides meet, and Daenerys assumes leadership of her newly acquired army, she orders the slave masters and their domestic men to be murdered. The sequence is a magnificent visual story, and it's no surprise that this episode is one of Daenerys Targaryen's greatest in Game of Thrones.
You didn't conquer them. You liberated them.
Season 3's finale episode, Missa, is noted for its aesthetically breathtaking photography, and one moment taken beyond the gates of Yunkai will live in every fan's heart. It depicts Daenerys and her advisors waiting for the free citizens of the city. The Yunkish adore her as their Missa, which translates to mother in the archaic Giscari language. Daenerys understands she has gained love and affection from her people as the chanting becomes louder. The sequence is wonderfully photographed beneath open bright blue skies, conveying Daenerys's passion for breaking the wheel of oppression. Fight of the Bastards between Jon Snow's and Ramsay Bolton's troops is the most brilliantly photographed battle in Game of Thrones. It all starts with the two armies forming on opposite sides of the field outside of Winterfell. The entire fight action devolves into anarchy and mayhem. Jon dashes full speed at Ramsay's army to save his brother, who is racing toward him amid a hail of Ramsay arrows. Through Jon's perspective, the camera work shows the senselessness of the conflict and the huge loss of life. As he and his troops get stuck by a physical wall of bodies with no way out, viewers see him pushing his way up through an army of men.
Listen.
The magnificently filmed ambush nicknamed the Battle of the Gold Road in Season 7's The Spoils of War, sees the Mother of Dragons strike the Lannister Tarly field army in an open field. Dragonfire executes Randall and Dickon Tarly, bringing the bloodshed to a head. The entire ambush action boasts clean, clear graphics and a lovely green-gold color palette. With its rapid camera work and outstanding VFX, it's no surprise that the Battle of the Gold Road is one of the show's finest battles.
The Mad King is dead. Rhaegar lies beneath the ground. Why weren't you there to protect your prince?
Our prince wanted us here.
The battle at the Tower of Joy between Ned Stark and his Bannermen and Knights, Esser Gerald Hightower and Esser Arthur Dayne, was visually stunning. The fight began with Ned and Arthur Dayne conversing scornfully, which ratcheted up the tension in traditional Game of Thrones way. Esser Arthur Dayne was considerably more talented than Ned, and Howland Reed stabbed him in the back seconds before he could finish him off. Aside from the stunning scenery of the Red Mountains of Dorne, the sword combat proved that Ned couldn't compete with Esser Arthur Dayne. It's little surprise he was considered as Westeros' best swordsman. Night King resurrected the dead as whites with a simple raise of his arms at the end of Season 5, Episode 8, Hardhome. Every single shot was accomplished flawlessly as part of the build-up to the action-packed carnage scenario between the dead and the living. In the episode, Jon and the soldiers of the Night's Watch travel to the namesake village beyond the wall to form alliances with the Free Folk. The White Walkers and their army assault them just as Jon offers to rehabilitate them south of the wall. The killing at Hardhome came to a halt when Jon and the Night King made eye contact. Fans consider it to be one of the finest Game of Thrones fight moments. Daenerys Daenerys' opportune entrance beyond the wall in Season 7's title episode serves as a reminder that Westeros, as depicted by Game of Thrones, is one of the finest fantasy kingdoms ever conceived. Simply put, Beyond the Wall is chock full of tragic, amazing, and breathtaking imagery. Daenerys decides to fly forth with Drogon, Viserion, and Rhaegal to rescue Jon and his ranging party after receiving Gendry's message. Her magnificent entrance was the most stunning shot in the entire movie. Daenerys and Drogon came from behind, just as Jon was about to be slain by an army of whites. The Night King fired a cold spear at Viserion, sending him crashing onto the frozen lake as Daenerys and her dragons set fire to the whites. The dragon wing shot from Game of Thrones' last episode is a symbolic assertion that compares Daenerys to a real dragon, implying that she has become the genuine Dragon Queen. It appears shortly after Daenerys has conquered the Seven Kingdoms and before she addresses her Dothraki crew and the Unsullied. The castle doors are opened, and she steps out, Drogon spreading his wings behind her. Aside from being a cinematic classic, the moment also implies that no matter how many people she saved throughout the world, the Mad King's daughter finally succumbed to her fate. Daenerys' gradual but dramatic makeover in Game of Thrones contains jaw-dropping sights that will live on in fans' hearts forever. One such lovely scene may be seen at the conclusion of Season 1's finale episode, Fire and Blood. Daenerys throws her dragon eggs onto Khal Drogo's funeral pyre and instructs Ser Jorah to chain Mirri Mos Dur to it. She proclaims herself queen of her new Khalasar and promises to defend them from any threat. She climbs into the fire bravely, and at daylight, Jorah and her Khalasar discover her uninjured, with 3 newborn dragons clinging to her. The dragon hatching sequence establishes Daenerys' persona, letting viewers know she is not to be trifled with. Melisandre lit up the Arakhs, kicking off the alliance of living forces battling for Winterfell, and life in general. The Dothraki swords, The Long Night, the series' main plot, takes place in Winterfell. Aside from the fact that the golden flames illuminated the darkness of the night, the sword lighting moment was a huge morale booster for everyone battling for the living against the army of the dead. Hey, if you enjoyed this video, make sure you click the like button so I can feel all mushy inside. Also, click the subscribe button while you are there, and then since you are on such a clicking roll, why not click on another awesome video that is already loaded up right here. You don't even have to watch it, just let the video play at 1% while you eat your sushi or something.